Hello, how are you doing? This is Brian with RV Life. Today, I'm going to give you the big this is my 1994 Fleetwood Flare. Um, I had to go up to Cranbrook, BC from the lower mainland to go buy this thing. So I went up and got it sight unseen, drove it all the way back 700 and some odd kilometers, and it actually did really, really well. So let me tell you a little bit about this. This, like I said, it's 28-foot Fleetwood Flare, 1994 era, and this thing has a fuel injected 454, which kind of caught my attention. I'm really not a big fan of these carbureted units. Have a look at those windshields. Aren't they nice and clear? No cracks. Kind of wondering how long that's going to stay like that. Not looking forward to having to replace one of those. And I only have a couple of marker lights that are testing me. I've got one that's out there and then one in the back. So let me show you in the front here a little bit. This is the under thing. Another thing I noticed is that we have no reservoir tank for the ice cube juice. Antifreeze, yeah, that's what they call that. So I have to finagle something up for that. So here we have two new or newish house batteries. Those are 12 volts, and one new starter battery. I had to buy that one because the other one was pooched. And going around the side, put this back up. I like the dual headlights too. I don't like that single headlight thing. I think the single headlights look even uglier than I thought this one was when I first got it. Look at those big windows. I love those big windows. It's panoramic when we're driving this. The wife says it's kind of like looking out a bay window. So here I have, so get this set up here. This is a 4,000 watt Onan 1994 flavor generator. And this is a pretty good little generator. I think when we got it, it only had like 150 hours on it. I've since put a few more on it in the month we've owned this thing. Now, the great thing with this generator is changing the oil on this is really easy. There's the oil here. Underneath, right underneath here, is a little petcock for draining the oil. And then your filter is right here. And pretty good little generator. Fairly easy to work on. When I first got this, a little while after we got it, it wouldn't work. I don't know if you can see that. I'd have to show you in the daytime. But right in there was a wire that came loose. And all of a sudden, our generator was working fine, and it stopped. So I came out the next morning, and I was wondering what the heck was going on. And I was just looking around, and I figured it was the fuel pump, which is right. I don't know if you can see it. Fuel pump is right there. But so one of these little wires coming out of the fuel pump, it was a ground wire actually, was loose. The screw had backed out, and it was causing the generator to not work. So yeah, that was my first little win with this. And carrying on, sewer hose. That's where we store it. Here is my dunnage drawer. Now, some people would call this a waste of space, but I don't really have any choice because I don't have any leveling jacks. We're doing this old school with this old girl. Sometimes I'd like to have the leveling jacks. Other times I'm glad I don't. Carrying on, there's the outlet for the furnace. Hot water heater. Everybody tells me that little thing is the cat's ass. I'm liking it so far because our water heater works. Our cable outlet. Here's another little thing I had to discover when I first got this thing. So when we first got it, we drove it 700 miles home from Cranbrook, BC. First night we parked, I turned on the generator and I didn't have any power. I was wondering, why do I not have any power? So I didn't do anything about it that night, but the next morning I came out and I had a look and I see your power cord stacked in here. But if you look right up in here, that's a 30 amp plug-in. And just so for reference, this is a 30 amp rig. And so that cord was just laying in here. So I took it and I plugged it into there, turned on the generator, and voila, we now have power. So that was my second little win with this thing. And then here is our Blackwater tanks. And here's another little thing with this I had to figure out. Right up there at that window, that's our kitchen. Our bathroom is over here where there's no window. So one would think that this tank over here would be your Blackwater. This tank over here underneath the kitchen would be your Greywater. Oh, not so. So what happens is these tanks are stacked on top of one another. So in actuality, this is your Greywater tank. This is your Blackwater tank. Another way you can tell, I don't know about the newer ones so much, but with these older ones, you got two different size gates on here. The bigger gate and the smaller gate. The bigger gate is mostly always going to be your Blackwater tank. The smaller gate will be your Greywater tank because you got solids and stuff that come out of there, toilet paper. So you need the bigger hose or the bigger piping, hence the bigger gate. So there's that. I'm going to have to do that in the next year or two, so I'll show you parts of that. Here we have our outside shower. I didn't think so this old rig would have one, but there it is. I'm looking right at it, so it's got to be. That is a city water hookup. So if I had a hose that I could hook up to, that's where I would hook it up with a water regulator, like a water regulator gauge, so you don't blow all your hoses, and a water filter, which is different from this back here. which is, if I can get it open, come on, which is your freshwater fill tank. So would stick your fresh water hose in there, not your your rinse out hose for your sewer. Freshwater hose only. Put that in there, and that's how you would fill up your freshwater tank. And you notice right here, that is a breather for your tank. Lets all the air out as you fill the tank with water. Yeah. Well, now that I want to say something about it, do you think I can remember the correct terminology? No. That's something that I will get better with in time. That is the other light that's giving me grief. Well, we got his number, though. We'll fix him. So that's basically it. Oh, and the awning. And a dead dog. No, she's not dead. That's Dory. Dory used to be a boat dog. Now she's an RV dog. And then there's the awning. I love this awning because it's almost as long as the whole RV. He said it was new. Well, it's new-ish. I don't think it's as new as what was stated in the ad. But it's not falling apart. So that's all that I care about. So this old RV, I bought this from an old truck driver. And so he, being a trucker, he took pretty good care of this old girl. So when I got it, I didn't feel too bad about having to drive it back 700 kilometers. I am not sure what that is in miles. Probably 500 and change, 600, something like that. I'm not sure. But it was a good drive. No hiccups. It ran flawlessly. There was a couple little fixes I had to do since I've had it. Like I said, I've been in it probably about a month or so now. And it's been pretty good. I think she's going to be a good old girl overall. In the future, I might have to go up to Sunshine Coast with it. And I like to do a little bit of lake fishing. Yeah, so that could be coming up in the future. So thanks for touring, everybody. If you stuck around, I appreciate it. And if you want to hit that like button, maybe subscribe if you're so inclined, I would appreciate that too. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.